Villeneuve, man, he's hot right now. He's one of the best directors around, I'd say, honestly. But
Yeah, and thinking on this, and I've listened to a couple people talk about obviously Dune. That's the hot topic item.
it's
But like
big.
you guys, you seen Blade Runner 2049, right?
I
One
was
time,
just gonna
yes.
say that's like I'm gonna watch both Blade Runners. I actually haven't seen either of
See,
them.
everyone
Nice.
is speaking about the spectacle of Dune and Dune Part 2, but like Blade Runner 2049, seeing that in theaters when I did, like I just went and saw it. Me and my friend watched the first Blade Runner, and then we were like, let's go see 2049. It's out right now. So we went and go watch it. And like that experience was incredible. Like for me,
Nice.
that's
Imagine.
the visual spectacle of the Denny
Hmm.
filmography. I don't know.
He's got
But
a lot, man. I mean, Arrival is a fantastic movie too.
yeah, that too.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you see all of this in his Dune project too. I
Hmm.
don't know.
You
It's
see the evolution for sure, or like
yeah,
his what he can do with like what he's
yeah,
given. I mean, do we want
definitely.
to get into Dune Part Two, or do we, like that sounds like
Yeah,
where we're at, right?
yeah.
Okay, I guess like I'll just give a background for my personal Dune tastes. I've seen the old one, haven't read the books. I kind of thought the first Dune, like the 2021 or the first part, I thought it was kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie, I did not really
Yeah.
enjoy it that much, and it
Yeah,
was
listening to the your guys' old review, it seems like you guys didn't really like it. But like,
yeah,
it seems like you guys' only argument was that it kind of just like cut off willy nilly, which it totally did. Like,
yeah. I actually
but like
rewatched it.
from my perspective, like I just watched it like a couple days ago for the first time, and I had already bought my ticket for the second movie. So like the ending really wasn't that bad for me.
Hmm.
So I feel like
I
the
did.
movie wasn't that bad because of
Yeah,
that.
I rewatched it, and I agree. No, like having the two parts completed, it's a much better. Like it's
Yeah.
much easier to digest that way. I still think it cuts off in a
Oh,
second
it
act
totally
way
does.
where it just like
It's weird. It's a
it
weird spot to
it's a
cut.
tonal like too much of a tonal shift, I guess. But like seeing how it leads into this one, I mean, it's like it's almost right after the first part. I think it picks up, and they just keep going.
Instantly, directly
Yeah,
after the first part, minutes.
yeah. They keep going. They do more sand shit, obviously, but the sand shit in part two is more entertaining than the sand shit in part one. So, I mean, I guess I was kind of mid. I was kind of hater on the first Dune, but this one is way better. It won me over. It's more entertaining. It's tighter. It's leaner, and it's just got more going on. I liked.
Yeah,
I had a great time in the theater watching this movie.
my Dune experience similar to yours. The first one is mid. I didn't really care for any of the characters, and I think that's what, to an extent, that's what this second one really did for me was make me like enjoy Paul and enjoy his mom. Like those two characters, I thought were much more like I'm there for him now. Like before,
Mm,
it's like I have to be with these guys, and I kind of don't really
that's
get the vibe.
yeah.
But like with this one, she's orchestrating this because she has her own, Jezereb or whatever plans. But then Paul has actual vision. So I don't know. It's just it all works out good. So yes, I think the second one is better. It's still not like I guess I don't get the 5-star hype behind
This
it
is
all.
like
Oh,
top
Like
yeah, I
10
don't
out
get
of.
that either.
I mean, it's
it's
going to go down
crazy.
in Letterbox 250, but it's like top 10, I
It's
want to say right
crazy.
now.
Like
Wow.
the
Yeah,
story
I
isn't
wouldn't
as
say
like
that good.
yeah, it's the story of it all isn't as good as it can be, but
And
the
to be honest, I like
filming of it all is
I like the
fantastic.
story,
Mm.
but like like this movie does move quick.
Hmm.
But like I feel like they spent like a good half to three quarters of the movie on like Paul refusing to like accept
The
his like
power.
role. Yeah, and like then there isn't really much that happens to persuade him to just go to the south. He kind of just does.
He drinks that
Like
juice, bro,
I was like,
and he fucking
yeah, but
sees.
it like he kind of there was no
Wormwood.
motivation for him to switch. Like I felt like it kind of just like came out of nowhere.
Hmm. That's
And then
fair.
I feel like that kind of deflated it for me because then I'm like, we just spent like three quarters of this movie where he's just like refusing to accept this, and then he just kind of does.
See, I felt that
That's
way
fair.
too. I just felt more of like he was like it's gonna happen regardless because he can see it. it unfolding. So it's like he has to make the choice, and it's either now or later that he's making the choice to do
Actually,
it.
I don't
Mhm.
know though if like the future he sees is like actually like going to happen or not. Because like I was actually like reading some stuff about how in the first one he has like other visions of shit happening, and in like this sequence where he's like wearing armor, there's like a similar sequence that happens where he's like fighting, and it's like
And
reminiscent
some
of like his fight at the end with the Nob Baron fucking yeah.
fade.
And
Big
so I
Bravo.
don't know if like the future he sees is like actually like solid.
Yeah, I think it's like
Yeah.
ebbs and flows. Like some things are real, some things are blurry. So like different people might be in. It's. I think it's like gray. I think what the
I
movie does
know-
pretty well is like. Go ahead. No, I mean if you have a point.
I was just gonna say, I know in the book, like because of Paul's lineage, he's like born with some of those like powers, like the power of foresight a
Bene
little
Gesserit
bit.
or whatever.
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit. And then when he drinks the juice, it basically just like fucking
Amplifies his
heightens
He
shit.
fucking
everything.
took the
Yeah.
drugs, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's what I'm
The spice on top of the fucking
Yeah,
juice.
so-
like, yeah.
No, you've read like some of the books, right?
I've read the first
So like
two.
what actually is the deal with spice?
Or
It's
where
bit-
spice is
Interstellar
power of life,
travel.
bro.
Yeah, it's used for like interstellar trap to like fuel ships and shit like that. And I think it's used. It's like in the books, it's like used for a lot of different things, but most of it is for like intergalactic and like speedy space travel.
Okay.
From what
So
I read,
like
it like
not
makes
as like drugs.
wormhole travel. I mean, drugs too. I mean, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong.
Yeah,
It's
but-
like I mean,
It's-
were they
we can
actually
get
getting
multiple
like
things.
abilities from the spice? Like that's kind of what I'm asking. Like
Maybe
I
you don't go to a
think so.
gas station and like breathe in a little deeply, you know?
Yeah,
No.
You're gonna feel something. No, I think from what I know, I mean, I only like Google search Dune lore or whatever, but like, yeah, it like amplifies senses and like ability or some shit. If you,
Yeah.
if you
Gotcha.
keep huffing it.
It
I
gives you,
kinda
like, a
assumed,
sixth
but-
sense a little bit of like, kind of that kind of
Okay.
thing. And I don't know if they set this up very well in the first Dune, but I know in the book the main reason Paul and his family are like they're assigned to Arrakis because it's like the shit assignment. No, it's like the emperor or empress assigned them there because the Harkonnens convinced them to do that, and because they want the Atreides family to like die out, and,
Fuck
like,
up.
fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, it
Mhm.
was like basically like, well, I guess a coup isn't the right word, but I mean, it was a setup basically
Yeah.
to kill them.
For sure.
Pretty much. And then
Yeah.
that's like why the reason in the book, like Paul's dad is such a big guiding force because it's like, hey man, like I know we got the shit assignment. I see this desert planet as like so much more. And then
Yeah.
Paul like starts getting visions of like
I
turning
liked
this
that,
desert
'cause, like,
planet into a
I feel like immediately in the
You know,
first one,
paradise.
like the Atreides, once they took over, like with Jason Momoa's character, he had like learned so much more information about the Fremen than like any of the Harkonnens like had learned ever.
Yeah.
Like when they were on Arrakis. So like,
yeah, no one cared about Arrakis or the Fremen because they were like they're fucking savages and it's this
Yeah.
desert planet. And
I actually
fucking-
kind of liked the character. So here's my take, I guess. So like, I actually kind of enjoyed watching the first one, and the second one I did like it basically. I was really into the first one because like I don't know. You guys have heard my takes on Star Wars and shit, and like I fucking hate ever since Disney took over Star Wars, and like this is what I wish Star Wars was. Like
Yeah,
like dark and like kind of real feeling. And I don't know. I actually looked it up because like, okay, Star Wars was obviously like taken from
A
Dune.
lot of this
Like,
shit,
and
yeah.
I looked
Yeah.
up like Frank, whatever his name is, like actually like
Herbert.
contemplated suing George Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
shit.
like I'm not like surprised. Like you totally
you see
fucking
it.
should have. Like
You can see
Yeah.
it, like what he
Intergalactic
took, and
politics and shit.
Yeah.
yeah, the oppressive force,
I
like the
don't, you have a
dark oppressive
chosen
force
one on a
versus like the
desert
lighter.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like honestly, Dune Part 2 at least, and Dune Part 1 by extension is like some of the best, if not the best, visual sci-fi I've ever seen. Like,
Oh,
it's just,
yeah,
you can't deny that.
I mean, it was so fucking cool. Like being in the theater, like there were times
Yeah.
when like you'd have like 10 minutes of straight just like noise going all the time when they're riding the fucking worms or something. And then like the next scene is like with the emperor or something and it's like totally quiet in the theater. Like it was just a like complete change, you know?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
it was
The
a
sound
pretty cool
design-
experience.
Sound design
And
was
just like
amazing.
visually, it was like so fucking good.
Did I mean just like obviously like the tech is a big focus, but like everything is so tactile in the Dune universe, and that's what is so great about it, because you can like, if like with the fucking Baron, the big Baron who's floating around with the big old balls, you can like hear the little like things like
mechanical stuff.
I don't know that, man. The sound design coupled with those visuals are just like epic. It's just so and the ships, like all the ship designs, like it's just fucking.
It's also like
great.
it's stuff that we've seen all the time, but done differently. Like them, like using zero gravity to fly is
That
kind
was
of cool.
sick.
Like when they're
Just the floating up the rocks.
Yeah.
That was really
Yeah.
cool.
It's stuff
like,
you've
no
never seen
jetpacks,
before.
but and then like the mines that are magnetic that just fly out of the sand. Those dope
Yeah.
as shit.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
You know, and like one of my favorite parts of it was when we went to the to see Fade Ralph, is that his name?
It's Fade something. Yeah.
When
Ratha.
Fade Ralph, yeah. When we go to his planet and it's the black sun,
That's
and it
insane.
like the gradient change from like him
Yeah.
walking out and it turns to black, and it's like seamless, and it's just so I don't know. I would live in that moment in like the fireworks going off. I'm like, this is it. I love it.
Yeah, it
That
was
sequence is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem with the CGI in that whole sequence is the crowd. It just looks like a bunch of beans hopping, but
Really, I didn't even notice.
all right.
I was just
I'll let him slide on that because the rest of
Okay.
it is just so good.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Well, okay, so like basically the first one, I liked how they showed different planets and them being in different places and stuff. For this one, I almost got tired of them just being in fucking sand the entire fucking movie. Like, I feel like it was so nice to like even just see the fucking just black and white shit like of hell, basically.
That's
in the
way they
fucking
spent
Harkonnen planet.
A little more
Like,
time there, probably. Yeah.
Yeah,
just
but
to, like,
like
get you out.
even at the end, so like the other noble houses or great houses or whatever did not accept his claim as emperor, correct?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and then the movie just kind of ended after that. Like I feel
Whoa,
like
whoa, whoa.
I feel
They're
like
going to
look,
send him to paradise, brother.
I'm just saying if they spend 2 hours and 45 minutes on this fucking movie, why can't you just spend like 10 minutes of exposition? Like I don't it just ended. Like I was more disappointed with this ending than the ending of the first one, to be honest. Like I feel like it just kind of just teetered out. Like
I mean,
Denny isn't about writing. He's about visual spectacle.
He only
is.
yeah,
about
the
visuals.
visuals
That's
were
what he
so
said.
fucking good. Like I get it, but like
yeah.
and most of the movie was good. It worked. Like it went quickly. It actually did. Like you have like one scene with like I don't know, whatever, I don't remember his name. The chief Fremen who like they want Paul to kill so he becomes like that chief or whatever. Him and like Paul's mom, like, and he's telling her that she has to become the new like fucking I don't remember the term, shaman woman person. And then like literally the next scene is like them transferring the consciousness to her. So I'm like, okay, this is at least they're like moving through shit quick. Like I feel like that they did that kind of a lot, like where like shit moves
Just kept
sequentially
going.
like fast. But like I don't know. I feel like if you spend that much time doing stuff, you can at least spend a little bit of time
Definitely.
spending this
100%.
shit. Like
For sure.
There was those were the negative things I had about it was that towards like they spent a lot of time in the beginning. I mean, they did those quick cuts to show the passage of time, but as it started getting towards the end of the movie, it was more rapid. Like when Fade Camp comes in and just bombs the shit out of the Fremens. Like, why didn't the other guy just do that? Like, how did we get to this point to where they're getting sniped by the Fremens so where they could just be on top of their home and bomb the fuck out of them?
I
Mhm.
think
And then
so. Like the only explanation I would have for that, because like I kind of agree, is like the last thing that Dave Bautista's character does before he gets like they get like swapped, is like he finds their like base, I think, and then is in like a sandstorm and they come out and like fuck them up. And then I think they like know where their base is, and then
And then
after
he
that
takes
they
over.
come in and they just like try to blow the place up. But
Okay.
I mean that's like the only explanation I can have
Yeah.
for it. But like
Mhm.
yeah, I don't feel like that was explained
And-
well.
honestly, I mean, for all the visual spectacle, I think we could have had a little bit better of a battle sequence in the end. I mean, Josh Brolin and Batista going at it for like 0.2 seconds.
Yeah, that was the
kind
most
of-
disappointing scene, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his delivery of
Yeah,
like for my
quick.
house and for my friends, I was like,
Yeah.
what
Cringe.
movie did I just enter? Yeah, like
Who let Denny write this shit?
yeah. Even the delivery, I was just like, you chose that one, okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess my biggest gripes towards the end, I think it's kind of just like wrapping up kind of what you guys were saying about it, which is like the turn that Chalamet has after he drinks the juice. He's a different guy or whatever. I can accept that, sure, whatever. But like the way he like wraps up his own story, which is like, I'll marry that princess. I'll do, you know, and it's like no one was asking for any of this, and like why are they doing it, and like why is this like the way to go? And then he does it all, and then at the end it's like, yeah, they didn't accept that. So it's just like, what? So like, yeah, it's like what did get resolved here, or like,
Yeah.
there's more
like,
books.
Yeah, I was
So.
gonna say that's like how I'm pretty sure I remember that's how the first book ends.
I walked out of the
Um,
theater like within like 30 seconds. I just like I'm on my phone googling, is there a Dune Part 3? Like,
Yeah, there's like 6, I want to say, right?
I mean,
Something
oh
like
shit,
that.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
five or
are there like 12 fucking books or something
Really?
like that? Like, there's a shit
Yeah.
ton or something,
There's
right?
like the main series I think is 5, and then the author's son like did a separate series after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my main concern going into the movie was, well, first off, I didn't like the first one that much, but my other main concern was, can he do it?
Yeah.
Can he become
I
the
saw your
ruthless leader?
comment on Letterboxd.
But my God, when he was doing the whole speech, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm with him. My man.
What is
He's the
it?
Messiah.
Yeah, what's the fucking phrase? The Samalal or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Lasan.
it's not Moha Adib. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
So
It's like Lasan something. I don't fucking know. But yeah, for
but
sure.
I was just like, this is it. Timmy's got the juice for sure.
It's interesting because I just watched I rewatched the first one today, and you see Timmy as like a young boy in that one, and like the
Yeah.
years that they took to make it actually served it because he like
Definitely.
seems to mature at least a little bit through that time and be like a better like I guess like commander of the scene. Yeah.
Definitely. And like
Dude.
the way they like from when after he takes the juice, I think it was when he takes the juice, the way he was captured on camera was completely different. Like it was like power stances only and slow motion walks, and it was just like
I see the
Yeah,
transition change.
yeah. Before you get the whole silhouette of Timmy as like this stick person, but then after
Yeah,
that
I
he's
think-
just kind of like
even
He's
his
a
like
beefy boy.
even his like hood
Yeah.
changed to darker
Yeah.
shade, basically. Like,
Nice. Hell yeah.
And I also think that Austin Butler, I've said this since I walked out of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but that dude's got it too. I mean, he's a
Yeah, I
great
gotta
villain.
say, I was like, one of my biggest concerns going into the movie was Austin Butler. Like, no joke, because
Really?
like he's a fine actor, but like after Elvis, I find him to be quite cringe because he can't lose it. He can't like be something else. And to be, and like, if that's your voice, man, cool. But I don't think it is, you know. But like, so in Doom Part 2, I'll eat my words is what I'm saying. He fucking killed it. He's like doing a Stellan Skarsgård impression that's spot on.
dude, I was gonna say, I'm like,
Yeah.
is there real Skarsgård? Are there two
Right.
Skarsgårds in this movie? Like,
It's really fucking good, and there's not a hint of like his other characters. He's this psychopath. His little like jolts of like his like fucking like just going for it moments really landed too.
Making shit, killing
Yeah.
people randomly.
His like
Yeah.
psychopathic character, like the turns, like the literal just like moves he was making, and this like you don't expect them second to second, and it's like it's really effective.
Yeah. Like one of the better scenes with him was when Timmy yells silence at the one bitch, and the way Austin Butler reacts is just like, damn. Timmy,
I like
chill.
that. Yeah.
But,
It's
yeah, no,
interesting too. I guess yeah. Do you got something to say about Butler?
No, he was because one of my other gripes was I felt like the Harkonnens were kind of lackluster in this one. Like they're supposed to be like this super smart, I feel like smart and like evil force, but they were just kind of meh until Fade comes in and he's like the answer to that gripe of like,
Right.
here's what they can be. Let's put it all into one character. So
I think they're just trying to like condense and like simplify.
Definitely,
Like
definitely,
because like Dave Bautista is like the highlight or like the golden boy of like war in the first movie, and then in this movie he's like a chump, you know. So it's like they gotta just like what's
Kind
that?
of seemed like a punk ass bitch and all.
He
of
is
it.
kind of he's just like yelling in the first one too, kind of being stupid. But like it's the moves are like easier to digest, even with like Javier Bardem's character. I actually liked the comedy that they brought into the character. I think it actually made that character work in a way for me that it didn't in the first. But it's also kind of like servicing the movie in a way to like let you have levity in with his moments, so you can like get more serious with Zendaya and shit. You know, it's like it's the trade off that makes the experience better. But
yeah, definitely. I think what was nice about the comedic stuff that Javier Bardem brought was like it didn't feel forced. I don't know, like he was just having fun, so we were having fun. Like he was like waiting for the moments to like hopefully this prophecy is gonna work out, and then if it didn't seem right, he was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah, or he's like when
that's gonna work out
Paul's
even more
like,
now.
I'm not the Messiah, guys, and then he's like,
too
only
humble.
the Messiah
So
would
humble.
say that. Like,
yeah, that shit worked for me for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The Zendaya
When he
stuff.
calls his name is the little mouse, and he's like, "Oh no, this is a perfect name. He makes his own water."
Yeah,
okay.
right. So smart. Yeah, the Zendaya stuff. I think if I were to cut time, which honestly I was thinking about, I always want shorter movies nowadays, but I was thinking, you know what? I don't think I would cut anything from that movie. If anything, I think you could add stuff just to deepen it for future viewings if you want.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I usually would say the opposite too.
Right.
Just like cut shit. Like
right. It feels like Lord of the like the follow up to Lord of the Rings, where it's like this epic tale that most people haven't read, or if you have read, you're like this diehard fan, and now it's done to its most maximum effectiveness. So like I can see it on that level, which maybe a longer runtime would have served it a little bit, but.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool,
dude. So like, I went to the Alamo and they were showing like clips of previous Dune movies. So I did see the like blocky shields.
They look hell yeah! Those are terrible. The 1981 or whatever. Yeah, it's like Minecraft, right? It's basically just like rectangles.
I will say one of you guys' gripes in your previous review of the first one was that like shields started to like not really matter, and that kind of like was the same in this, like especially in the really any sequence where they're like fighting. I would assume that like the Harkonnens have shields on most of the times. Like they say like don't turn your shields on sometimes, but like most of the time when they do have shields on, they like don't matter. Like people just stab right through them, except for like the one time that like the Dragonfly helicopter had a shield on, and they're like, you gotta wait until they shoot because that's when the shield's down.
Right.
But like then you just see like later in the movie where just like somebody totally just like blows up a fucking helicopter with a shield, and you're just like, wait, what? But they weren't shooting.
Yeah, I mean the Dune technology is cool to me because I read a little bit more. And it's like 10,000 years ago there was like a AI fight or some shit, and like they won, and now like computers are outlawed.
The first one, they like say that there's like no like computers and shit, right?
Yeah, so it's all very like manual, I guess, and the way that like they get around shields is cool. like it has like a slow eating. I don't know what probably know better, right? No, like it can like vibrate into it on a very like molecular level or some shit. I don't know.
I know that's how it's described in like early on in the book, is like the slow blade is what can penetrate it because it's concentrating on just like repelling anything that's trying to like, forcefully get through it.
Yeah, to be quite honest,
that's like in Star Wars, like the Rolly droids, they're called droidicas. They have like shields, and that's like how you go through those too.
So
another way where they're just ripping off Dune.
Yeah. And like the family relation too is kind of another ripoff. I mean, it's not like your father, but it's
your and like what's up with the sister?
You had your father moment for sure in this one.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah,
like you die like an animal or whatever. Is that the moment you're talking about, or
when she's like, "Yeah, my dad's actually."
Oh yeah, I didn't know till
the Baron.
A while back. Yeah,
it was like gasp. I actually went, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
that's me like convoluted it in a way that I was just like,
Or that you found out that Arrakis is actually called Dune.
They said it.
That's the name of the movie.
They did it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess what I was struggling with like after the movie, and I think like other people have like tried to like say it's only this or whatever, is like this white savior like argument about it, where I mean, like, what's the message of Dune? Like, I came out of the movie and I was like, what is that about? You know, like, and I guess it's about like coming to terms with your own abilities and like being the man of the people. And the way that that story is told is like this outsider comes into like this indigenous land and like becomes the messiah of their people. That's like a white savior like story, I guess you'd say. So I think what the movie did successfully is that with Zendaya's character, she's the most tedious character and the character I want to spend the least amount of time with, unfortunately. But her like walking out at the end actually like means something with that whole conflict, because to me it's not like Timmy's the savior of the world. You can read like it's supposed to be read that way, but it's also supposed to be read as like a cautionary tale for like letting a guy get away with it, or like a power hungry man like just keep going. I don't know. So like it's a little more gray and a little more nuanced than that.
It's because he knows that like I mean, if like the future that he sees is actually like going to happen, then like he's gonna murder the fuck out of like a shit ton of people in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, and he knows that.
Right. And he's accepting his own power and his own, like his,
and
but
like,
in a dark way.
I guess like she knows that too, though, because like she's like the only one that he told that to, like the dreams. So like, besides maybe his mom, but like,
it's interesting you say that, like that's how you read it, because that's definitely basically what happens by the end of the second book. Is like Paul becomes the new emperor of everything. And a lot of
fucking spoilers, dude.
Sorry, man. Sorry, but
is it for good, or is the book as like as gray in that regard, or is it like written back in the 60s or whatever, where that is a more cut and dry, like just easy story?
No, I definitely think you're on point, because in the book it very much frames him as like the second book. Pretty much like the theme I got from the second book is like power corrupts, basically, you know, like Paul is the savior, everyone accepts him, loves him, he like fulfills his destiny, becomes the emperor, and then now has to deal with all the backlash and shit. And it's like, how does he deal with it well, or is he going to be like this iron fist asshole who's like, I can see everything, I know what's the best way, the better way, or is it, you know, in his vision it's like the best way for him, you know, to survive and keep on
and be the most powerful guy in the fucking I mean, that's cool. I found it to be deeper when I thought about it more, and especially in Dune Part 2, Denis Villeneuve is like making Zendaya be that conflict, or like, because if she was just like, go Paul, go, you know, like it wouldn't have that. It wouldn't have like the meaning behind it. So I'm glad all that's in there.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a big thing in the second book.
I mean,
too,
there's
is
still
like,
a hint
marry
of
the Empress. He's still married to this Fremen girl. You know, like, where do loyalties lie? That kind of thing.
Like, there's still like a hint of like she's just, I don't know, disappointed that she can't be with him.
Yeah, well, 100%. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like,
that's there too. The butthurtness of it all. Yeah. But
I'm glad to hear that you guys have like that the second one like picked up the slack from the first one, because I was a little worried after the first one it being so mid.
I think it's just you get the payoff, you get the character growth, you get like, and
more world.
Rewatching the first one, I love Jason Momoa. I think Oscar Isaac is a huge highlight of the first part. He's great in that first part.
I wish we had gotten more of him in the first one.
And to be quite honest, I like this actor a lot. We just talked about a 5-star movie, but Josh Brolin, and to me, doesn't really like. I didn't even like him really in both parts. Like, he's fine, but it's just not like, and especially in the second part when we kind of take the diversion with his character to come back and do all this.
Was it just the for my friends part, Matt?
Did not help.
Turn you off to the whole character?
That did not help. But just like, I guess like in the 2 hour 45, I don't need to. His character, his performance, his parts didn't grab me as much as the other stuff.
He's like Paul's like combat trainer and sort of like
His like link
Yeah,
to
other
Atreides'
figure.
house a little bit.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
serves that. I just like, maybe it's just Josh. I want Josh Brolin, maybe a different actor to try a little more on it or something. I just saw Josh Brolin kind of, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fair.
I will say too, just like something I thought of, I guess. Did they shoot like atomic bombs near the like,
Right?
like
I mean,
just
that's
they
what I
shot like
got.
3
I
of them
thought,
near the thing, right?
Right next to it.
Like, what about the like nuclear radiation?
It's 10,000 dude, bro. They ironed the kinks.
They
out
worked
of
out
the
all
mix.
yeah.
Like I mean, maybe, but they call them atomic bombs.
They're atomics, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you get away. With that.
Imagine bringing your warheads to this planet and just dropping them off at random spot in the desert and being like, yeah,
That was the
we get
same
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Also, I don't know if this was a joke or if this was just like expediency of the plot, but there's a title card where it says Arakeen, and like you see the city for the first time, and in every other like movie or any other story, it's like, oh, we got the establishing shot, we got where the city in, now we're going to spend a scene in here and learn them, and we're going to get into the city, and it's literally just Arakeen, and then this whole city just blows up, and that's literally all you see of Arakeen, and it just moves on to the next scene. And
Wow,
this is,
okay.
so like, to me, I like laughed at that because it's like playing with the tropes of like movies where it's like, now
Wait,
this city,
get into
and
the
it's
meat
just
of it.
fucking gone. Like,
I mean,
That's
like,
pretty cool.
is it just because they just like show it like as Arakeen and then it blows up? But I mean, because like,
Yeah.
I remember a couple times that they like flash to the city of Arakeen and they say it's Arakeen. So
I don't-
it's not
it's
like
just-
just that there's
I only
one
remember
shot
the
where
one
they-
time.
Okay.
Okay,
But
because
it's-
they did it multiple times. I do remember that.
I don't know. That time, it just like landed in that moment as like, I don't know, that I was waiting for more information, and the information I got is that everything is fucking destroyed. Like, it's just good.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I know in the books there's like a whole section where it's like there, Paul, everyone's worried about like Iraqian spies colluding with Harkonnens in the city and stuff like that. So I don't know if there was any of that in the second one, but that's kind of funny that they
I guess like that's like
dropped the bomb on it.
something else I was kind of confused about. Like, it would have to be through like spies and shit. Because like, how the fuck does Paul send a message like with his father's like signet ring seal to the Emperor? Like, how does it get there?
Yeah. To like shoot the nukes off or whatever that he said.
Without
or to like
the
go to.
Harkonnens like knowing about anything. Like,
That's a good question. That's probably just in
it would have to be the
the
spies or
book
something,
somehow.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They have like a secret.
But we're not concerned
I-
with writing in this movie.
I just
all
like thought about it
visual.
today. I'm like, how the fuck did he get that letter? Like,
Yeah. I had to Google too because it's like the universe is very interesting to me. But I was just like, how did ships get to Arrakis if we can't travel like, without
yeah,
the
like
spice?
how were like
Yeah.
humans on the planet? Basically?
How did they
like,
get
how
there?
did the Fremen get there? Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought about that too.
And it's just like probably slower travel, and like then they get spice, and then they realize they can like hyper travel or whatever the fuck. But
Sure.
yeah, right. Yeah, you don't
Sure.
really worry about that shit. It is wild though that the quote I read of Denis Villeneuve like last week, where he's like, movies are for visuals, like television is for like dialogue or something. He said something along the lines of that. I was just like, I read it to be very like, I don't really want to say
Condescending.
it
I
was
think
like,
he's just making up for his lack of like actual meat in the story.
His lack
He's
of
like,
dialogue, as we can flash to that one scene with Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Like with the fucking fight for my friends.
that's why he doesn't
I mean-
write long scenes.
I don't think he has any writing credits like in his movies. I don't know if he hasn't written any of his movies, to my knowledge.
Sure
don't think
likes
so.
to show off that he's the director, though. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, the
He,
thing
he
is,
had to.
that's what
Like, I feel like he had to show it like so many times that it's like directed by Denis Villeneuve or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it says it
That's
like
what I-
4 times.
But like watching Sicario, definitely like a good writer, and then he definitely captured everything that Taylor Sheridan wrote perfectly. Same with Prisoners. I mean, if you can get good material, sure, he doesn't have to care about the writing. But like Dune being his project, I feel like you'd care a bit more about like the story of it, not just like cool sandworms, watch them go. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah,
that
but-
sandworm sequence
Sand,
was
like
one of the
finding
best
more
moments
shit
in the
about
movie, right?
like the sandworms. Yeah,
Yeah.
the sandworm stuff was cool. It was pretty neat.
Hell yeah.
I mean, obviously, visually, it was
So also another
it was
thing.
great to watch, but
To
Like-
say that dialogue
Good
doesn't
story.
matter though is wild. But
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That
It's
is-
an insane thing to say.
So like Paul has to fucking ride a sandworm as his like he's
a
like
Fremen.
in
He's
you
a
know that's like
Fremen,
his
yeah.
last test, and then like an hour later, like Gurney is on the back of a sandworm, and he's not a Fremen, and like not through their like training or anything like that, and he's just riding on a sandworm.
Is he
like
like
there.
riding it?
No, he's just on the back.
Okay, I think they
With the rest of the
use
people,
it for
because, like,
travel too.
They just have like a shit ton of people on the back, you know.
Yeah.
My question is, how
I don't
do
know.
they get off the sandworms?
That's a great
How do you
question.
Like
dismount?
that's what I was wondering. Like, how do they get on and off with that many people? Like,
Yeah.
They
Especially if they're, like,
break the
they got-
sandworm.
Yeah. Pull
They
back on
power
the
slide
reins.
into a stop.
they just keep
Yeah.
going around in a circle.
They
Pop off!
get somebody to hang out in front of them and go click
Yeah.
in their face, and then it slows them down. And
Mm.
yeah.
Dune questions.
Yeah, those worms are
Don't
fucking
ask
scary.
me.
But we're not when it comes to Dune, we're not really concerned about the writing of it all. Yeah.
Yeah, but also those worms,
Jeez.
if they're like swimming through sand all the time and their mouths are like always open,
Wide open.
do they just like always filter out the sand?
That's what I was wondering too.
And like, how do they move that fast? You know, I just want
Little,
to.
what are those called?
I want a biology lesson on the sandworms.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I guess you don't really see those little like,
when I watch it too.
Dude, holy shit. I saw like there were like 5 fucking trailers before this movie, and like most of them were bad. It's like a third Quiet Place movie, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing, guys? And then there was like
day one, bro.
Twisters. Did you guys see that? Like
Yeah.
trailer for
Glenn
Twisters?
Powell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
Like what the fuck, guys?
Absolutely.
Why? Why would you like?
Yeah.
I love like the original's good, but like why?
Because
would you remake
twisters
that
are still
shit?
relevant, Joe.
I mean, yeah,
still
it's probably
experience
more
twisters.
relevant, but like I don't know, man. Just like I don't
It
know.
was
Yeah.
Make a
one of your-
different tornado movie. Like you don't have to call it Twisters. Call it
It
like
won't.
I don't know.
Sell.
tornadoes, and you can make it goofy. I don't know, goofy
You
storm
know,
chasers. That's like
I-
almost like Twister, but like you don't have to make it the exact
It's
same.
just a
fucking
rip off
thing.
of Twisters. Fuck that movie.
Sure, like I don't know,
I have
man.
this
you
Like,
can't
Yeah.
please everybody, Joe. That's what I'm
I
getting.
guess I just like I come up with something original. I don't fucking know, man. Like
That's fair.
Hey,
Yeah.
another trailer I saw that I'm actually really excited for, Civil War. That's original.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm very
Wait,
excited for that
are
movie.
you're actually excited for that?
That's like one of them out of this year. That's like one of the most interesting movies, I think, for me so
Damn.
So
far.
it's just
Yeah, I
like
don't
a
know.
historical.
Honestly, I don't.
No, it's
find,
like futuristic civil. It's like American
that
Civil
movie
War
at all.
nowadays. Like
yeah.
Okay.
that's just like a. I mean, a lot of people like say that's going to happen, so it's interesting, like to visualize it or think about it that way. But yeah, it's original. It's got great cast, a great like filmmaker behind the helm.
Yeah.
That's good shit. I'm ready for that one. What other
Texas
trailers?
and California secede from the nation together.
Yeah, and then the Florida Alliance or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second trailer that I saw before this one, I'm more interested. But honestly, the Twisters one, I wasn't on board until I saw Glenn Powell in his white T-shirt and cowboy hat, and I was like, okay.
I mean, he's got to be the
Yeah,
dude.
And they showed his
son,
truck.
right?
yeah, he's got to be.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. The Glenn Powell hype, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
He hasn't
It's the
proven
same-
it to me.
It's like Sydney Sweeney's hype. Like, come on, let's be honest. We all know what the hype is, and it's
Yeah.
not her acting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we'll see if Glenn can break out of that image. But
yeah. The
Anyway, back to
Deadpool 3
Dune.
trailer.
Dude, what's our ratings on Dune here, guys?
I'm gonna give it
Let's
4
just get past
stars.
I also give it 4.
4.